You found us.
Welcome to Emergency Protocol, a podcast for people who are stressy and depressy.
We are your hosts,
Denise
and Jackie Freed. That's my mama.
And that's my baby.
We are sharing our 12 steps reimagined for today's society.
And our bumpy, pothole-ridden spiritual paths.
And we're bringing you along for the ride.
This is us doing the actual work.
When the shit hits the fan, you know it's time for Emergency Protocol.
Hey.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
For reals, because you went away, so welcome back.
Thank you. Kind of crazy. Oh, wait, I forgot.
I always feel a little bit of, oh, shit. No.
Okay, now we're ready. So those of you who don't watch our YouTube, we are now on YouTube, and I just put on a hat that says "Diagnosed, but Mom said no." Hold on, let me just take my headphones off and give the camera closer.
Oh my God. Can't they zoom in? Oh my God.
Okay. We've been having this discussion for a while now about whether or not I have ADHD. It's been a years-long ongoing discussion. And in case this isn't enough of a confirmation, I accidentally ordered it twice because I forgot that I ordered it the first time.
Nice.
So I'm giving away a hat that says "Diagnosed, but Mom said no." If you want to
join the raffle?
Yeah,
are you raffling
join
a
the
raffle? Or first one to
Yeah.
reply gets it? How do you choose?
I don't know.
That's hilarious. Oh my God, I'm crying.
We'll report back on the raffle.
That
but
is
I do have
hilarious.
an extra in olive green. It's corduroy. It's a very nice, high quality hat.
Well, to be fair, the Instagram feeds a lot of ADHD stuff. And I'm like, is it just because I'm seeing it a lot? Or is it now like, oh, okay, that's it. I think it was because it was in college and that I don't trust that fucking quack doc in Connecticut that you went to see who strung you out on speed and sent you home. Like,
She's making it sound like I turned my dorm into a meth lab.
well, what is it? Adderall?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Speed. Yeah. And then I don't feel like he did you a service. I don't think he helped you.
No, obviously not.
So that's why I have that. I was like, if that's the only doctor that diagnosed it, then fuck that guy because he did not help my daughter. So fuck him.
Sure.
Mom said no to that guy.
Sure.
That guy is any diagnosis that he gave, but any subsequent diagnosis.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was just on the not him or the self-diagnosis.
But you are also not a doctor.
I am also not a
So why is your opinion any more valid
'Cause I'm
than
your
my
mommy.
opinion of my own lived experience? This is the real tea. This is what I was hoping this hat would bring out in our conversation. You are also
your
not
mommy.
a doctor. Yes. I'm like, but because I was high functioning and
Yes.
did so well,
Yes.
it's easy to miss. But if
That's
you
true.
look back at like who I was as a kid, I feel like all the signs are
You
there.
mean like that you had to go underneath the desk to find a place to read in kindergarten?
What?
You didn't remember that?
No.
Yeah, in the pods. It would be like Jackie, and she would be under the desk reading in her little cubby. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything like that?
I was actually thinking about all of the lunch boxes and sweatshirts and water bottles
All the
that
lost
got
items.
left behind. I single-handedly kept the lost and found in business
Yes.
for 7 years.
To be fair, there was a pile as big as this couch of lost and found at the school. So
it wasn't just me.
no. But I was also like, okay, these are a bunch of spoiled kids because they have more than one lunchbox. If they can just leave the lunchbox and not notice that it's missing and still have something to carry their lunch in the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Including me, because somehow I ended up at school with a lunch.
Oh my God, that is hilarious. You're killing me. Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Okay, so that also, I came armed with receipts today.
Oh.
Every teacher's conference I had was Jackie's really great and smart, but she's distracting the kids. She's talking to other kids too much
Oh, really?
in class. Yeah. You
I
don't remember that?
No.
I remember getting that feedback a lot. Always being the last one to pack up at the end of class. All of the soccer cleats, missed uniforms. There was a game that I couldn't play in one year for volleyball because I brought the wrong color uniform.
Oh.
Another one where I forgot my glass. I forgot contacts. I just had my glasses. Couldn't see. Yep.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, there's a few signs. And the mental health conversation then.
Call is coming from inside the house.
I mean, you could take. I feel like this hat's probably applicable to you too.
Yeah,
You
I'm
could
sure.
take this hat.
I'm sure we can keep passing it down the generations.
Leave one on everyone's grave.
This is the ancestral hat.
Sisterhood of the traveling hat.
Yes.
Funny.
Wow. That's hilarious. Oh my God.
Okay.
Okay. So there we go.
There we go.
Diagnosed, but Mom said no. That is going to be the name of this episode.
Yes.
Oh,
Great. Okay.
amazing.
Perfect.
Amazing. Wow. Yeah, I feel like all of us need to go get tested now for all these undiagnosed things that we've been living with. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like now is also a good time to bring up that autism and ADHD can often coincide. So I'm just saying, based on some of our family traits, that maybe there could be other things at play.
Yes, we are on all kinds of scales.
We are.
We are on all
kinds of
We are on all
scales.
kinds of scales.
Okay, last night we went to an Angel City game too. It was one of the second to last home game of the season. I finally convinced Grandpa Mikey to come with us.
Yes.
And he is a loving, supportive man. He is I know he would have my back in any situation. He makes a lot of homophobic jokes.
Yes.
Right? And so he said something. What did he say about something lesbians? Oh, he said, "Don't try that lesbian shit with me." And then I said, "Don't tempt me with a good time." I'm like, I'm not going to let that slide anymore, Gramps.
Right.
Part of my understanding of my sexuality has absolutely been influenced by our family and their comments.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway.
Definitely homophobe.
But
I mean,
not in an ill intent way. I think that's just the humor that he was raised in.
Humor, yeah.
But I'm still also not tolerating that anymore. I'm not going to let the humor go unchecked, even if it's just meant to be humor.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Well, some of it's just not funny.
That too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we as a family trait would hide a lot of shit under humor.
Uh-huh.
That's our glossy over.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's going to sting a little, but we're going to laugh about it. It's going to be funny.
Uh-huh.
But then you're going to be like, was that funny? Or did that just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh my God. Okay. Here we go.
There's some things. Percolating.
We're just keep peeling back the onion. Mm-hmm. There's more onion underneath that layer.
Yeah.
Lots of onion.
Getting our Shrek on.
Yeah, it's good. Shucking.
Shrek.
Shrek.
Okay.
All right.
Great. So now to circle back to where we actually were trying to start.
Yeah. Okay. So what we were planning on talking about before Jackie surprised me with that beautiful hat.
I'm not taking it off. I don't even wear hats, but I'm not taking it off.
And I'll wear the Stressy and depress-y, and we'll just go out in the world and like
It'll be so
share our share our love with everyone. Nice. Yeah. So yeah, because we had at work, they made us beautiful shirts with our emergency protocol logo on it, and also hats. And they say Stressy and depress-y as the main thing, which, yes, we are.
We are.
And the Stressy and depress-y is kind of what we were planning on talking about.
Yeah.
Which is social anxiety. And we're going into the holidays, which is a lot of being around people and social situations that make people uncomfortable, whether that's familial or work events or
so much small talk,
or maybe people who are newly sober and now around all this drinking or, whatever it is that people, for me, it was kind of a blackout time when I was an practicing alcoholic addict from basically Halloween through New Year's, because it was like one just
all
rolled into the next, and so it was just a lot of partying going on. So what I was saying, Jackie's going to a wedding upcoming this weekend. She went away last weekend, which I think was just delightful, I would imagine. But and I went to a new meeting that I was invited to that was at somebody's house, which I go to a lot of meetings at people's houses and have for a long time, which is kind of a good thing and a bad thing, because when you go to regular meetings, it's like people, but you don't really know them because you're not regular at this big meeting, but you're
not as intimate
with all these people in these small groups. So I went to this new meeting this week, and I do realize like I do have social anxiety going into a new situation, even with all this sobriety behind me, and it's like, okay, is this person going to be there? Is that person going to be there? I was invited by a woman I met at the retreat that I did earlier this year, and I don't know her that very well. She's lovely, but it was just like, okay, I'm going to try it. And it actually turned out to be a lovely meeting. Nice. And there was a lot of sobriety there.
That's great.
Because part of my fear is always that I'm going to be the oldest one. I don't like to be the only over 30 in the room. Because then people expect me to know shit, and I'm still
the
just
wizard
working on it. And that's the thing. It's like everybody there, no matter if you're 60, 90 days, 2 years, 5 years, 30 years, whatever, everyone's still a work in progress, right? Like there's no perfection. There's no like, oh, I finally nailed this. Yeah. That's just like life continues to still be in session, and we still have to react to it. And hopefully, I mean, the thing is like as more stuff gets uncovered, we just learn different tools to manage the uncomfortableness of whatever situation we find ourselves in, right? So practicing using these tools on situations that, well, what they say in the rooms, like situations that used to baffle us, right? Like we just didn't know how to react or how to do that. And in some ways, I default into old behavior, which is silent scorn or whatever. And then in other ways, I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to actually protect myself with some psychological safety, setting up some different parameters around this communication, right? Yeah. And so it's interesting just listening to people talk about fear and forgiveness and stress and like...
You get a little bit more input because it's a smaller meeting, right? So did everybody share, or was there one speaker?
Not everybody. There was a speaker and it was participation, but it's like, everybody shares, and there's a myriad of topics. Like one thing you hear people talk about this or that. So it could go from relationships, whether that's with parents or loved ones to work to money stresses to like just, living life on life's terms. And so there's all these different things, but as more people share, things get triggered in everybody's brain. So the next one kind of takes some of it, you know what I mean? It kind of finds its way around, but it's usually steeped from whatever the first speaker said. And so the first speaker kind of sets it's
like a little bit of seasoning in the soup.
Yes.
Kind of establishes the flavor.
It's the bay leaf. Don't really know what it does in there, but it's doing something.
Yeah.
You
notice when it's gone.
Yes, but you don't know what I can't tell you what bay leaf tastes like. Does anybody know what bay leaf actually tastes like? Like a real chef probably would.
Yeah.
But I don't. But I know it's needed in our adobo.
Yeah.
That's the main
crucial
thing.
And lentils.
Yes. So that was my week, was just going to a new meeting and talking to another person there. Actually, you had asked me if I wanted to go to an ACA meeting a few weeks ago. And that's why I originally reached out to this woman who's had this meeting in her house.
Yeah.
And I think it just started. So everybody there was also kind of new to it. So that also made it easier.
Oh, this was an ACA meeting?
No. It was a regular meeting.
Okay.
But
the meeting itself was new in conception.
The woman who hosts the ACA meeting was also there.
Oh,
and I haven't had a chance to talk to you, so we'll just talk about it here.
Great.
And that is, I asked her, I said, hey, we ordered that workbook and it looked like you guys were way far into it. And we feel like it's going to be too far to catch up. And she's like, oh, no, don't even worry about it. Just come because it will... It applies, like whatever we're talking about applies to now. And she goes, it's just like a big book workshop. We go like to a regular big book workshop, not the ones that I do where we're doing a workbook, but a regular one where we're just reading a book. You just go, and if they're on step 6 or step 9 or whatever, you get what you get out of it. And it's not, you're not behind.
Yeah.
There's still some learning to be had there. And it's not like
not
math.
as sequential.
Yes. So
okay.
So she said, "Yeah, love for you both to come," and she was very lovely about it. So maybe Monday we'll hit that.
I love that.
Yeah,
interesting. I wonder too, like if it will impact I don't think it would impact like the dynamic as a group, but I don't think it's very often that a parent and a child are both attending an ACA meeting.
Like, here, we brought the whole dysfunctional family.
Here we are.
You should wear your hat.
Hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Hey, welcome to the group.
Oh boy. That's funny.
So that was my week.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's interesting too, because I've never attended ACA. I don't really know much about it. And so I think it'll be interesting to explore. And that's actually what came up in this meeting was like generational trauma that we don't even know we've inherited.
Yeah. It just lives,
going back
literally
to
lives
like
in
the
us.
homophobic jokes or the whatever it is. There's stuff that just goes so far back that we don't even know we're continuing it down the road. So anyway, that was my week.
Before I share about my past weekend, I did want to circle back to the social anxiety piece. I think it's been really interesting for me to kind of establish the difference between feeling nervous and feeling anxious and having social anxiety, because they're all very distinct things. And I can remember like being in elementary school and having to go up on stage for like a performance or something, right? Or to lead all school meeting and feeling like butterflies in my stomach and like a tickle, right? That to me is feeling nervous.
Yeah.
For me, the way that social anxiety manifests in my body is like my chest is tight. I can feel my pulse like throughout my body. Like I can feel it in my arms, in my chest, in my head.
So like an elevated heart rate.
Feeling tightness in my chest, and also like looping over the same thoughts over and over again. And also like preparing, like having made up conversations in my head that often never come to pass. Right. And it happens afterwards too. Like there's residual social anxiety after the event of like, oh, like this was what I should have said or what I wish, and then fixating on that as well. So it's like on the front and back end.
I think too, also in my younger days, there was not only the anxiety, but the expectations, right? So like going into New Year's, not having somebody to kiss when the thing turned midnight, like
terrible.
all those weird,
Especially when you're young and hot.
yeah, and you're like,
I can't even
everybody's
find
like kissing,
anyone to
and then somebody comes in, you're like, fuck no, like no, and so it's kind of like, why is there that pressure? Why is that you know what I mean? Like, why is that the norm that you have to kiss somebody at midnight, or why is it expected that this actually happens in not a Hallmark movie, right? Like, so I think that was also coupled with that. It was like, okay, I was going out to these events looking for love and not finding it. So there was also that anxiety of like,
trying to
is it
find a
because I'm not
partner.
pretty enough or smart enough or rich enough or
I
tall
didn't wear
enough?
a cute enough outfit.
I'm not enough, right? And so you come back with not fulfilling that need, feeling not enough, and then as you keep going out and keep not finding it, it kind of perpetuates that. Oh, I might never find that, right? And so that also played into a lot of that, like you know. Buying the right outfit, getting the nails, like hair,
oh my God, the nails and the hair and the lashes
and the shoes and the da 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 da.
We're not in this economy.
But that's what I'm talking about. But why so much importance on shit that doesn't matter? You know, like the person who sees you and like bonds with you is not doing it because, I mean, maybe because you're in a hot red dress. That's what catches the eye, but that's not what keeps them engaged, right? And so
the hot red dress is not going to sustain a marriage.
No, because there's a lot more hot red dresses out there. And so anyway, I just wanted to say that too, because I think in my younger days, that was a lot of the expectation of what those nights were. Halloween, you know, wearing the slutty outfit, looking for,
which also, like, it's good to feel hot, right? Like if you feel good and cute and whatever, like that's great.
Yes.
Right. And also, like, you can feel hot and do your hot girl shit and also still have this other separate thing. Right. Yes.
But I also place so much of my self-worth on, was I fuckable?
Which she was. She was.
But I also wasn't like a person who was very, like, I wasn't just fucking everybody. Right. So it was like that weird, you know, balance of like, you want to be sexy, but you don't want to be like,
you don't want to ship out your agency.
And and also you don't want to be approached by all these creepy guys, but then you're looking like that and you're getting approached by creepy guys. So there was this weird self-validation of like, that was my worth, right? Instead of because I'm funny and smart and capable and
but how would they get to know all of that without having some sort of like physical impetus to come up to somebody, unless there's a prior context, right? If you're just out interacting with strangers, it's like a visual thing at first, right?
And also, I think there's a misconception around, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm thinking it might be that the guy always has to make the first move. And sometimes those guys are just as scared as we were, right? And so why do they have to make the first move? Maybe they're waiting for you to show some sign of interest because they don't want to feel like an asshole in front of all their friends, right? And just like you don't either, right? So it's kind of like,
I feel like the pendulum is swinging, right? Like what you grew up with and what I kind of grew up with was more on the creepy end. And now I think because of Me Too and also COVID, people are a lot more timid in social spaces. But it's almost like it's overcorrected too much where nobody's saying anything to anybody.
Right.
At least in LA. Apparently that's not the case in Miami.
But that's also because they're all looking at their
anecdotally.
phones in the room at a table. Like, I think if everybody checked their phones in and actually were present in the room, instead of looking on their phone, they might see actual other people.
Yeah. Oh, we should do an episode on smartphone addiction because that's a whole other thing that trying to wrestle with.
Yeah.
I had other comments. We were talking about self-worth. And we were talking about dressing hot and
being sexy.
Oh, okay. Interesting. It's like I have noticed that I'm having a hard time. I'm single, right? And I'm like, I have not been in a place to date. I still think I'm a couple months away from that, at least. But I'm having trouble setting down the search for like the origin of the not enoughness. Like my brain wants to rationalize and find something to latch onto. And I'm having a really hard time letting that go and just accepting that, like moving on to the I am enough part. Right? Like I still am trying to find that origin point and I don't know what that is or if there even is one. Right? And so that I think is really frustrating for me as somebody who's trying to like move forward and grow and like heal some wounds, right? Some like core wounds.
Well, as you dig in, you'll find stuff. But, again, it's a work in progress, right?
Yeah.
There's always a reason to not be enough.
It's not going to be solved ever.
No.
Right? It may come and go in waves or increase in intensity
and maybe the look isn't in the where it's not enough. Maybe the look needs to be where you are enough.
Yeah.
And focus
no,
more
totally.
on that.
That's what I'm having a hard time doing.
Got
it's
it.
like making that transition.
Got it.
Right? Which is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very interesting. This past weekend, I went up to Portland to visit my buddy. Shout out to Bree and Mark for hosting me. It was super fun. I'm so grateful, like, to have such a good friend who makes me feel so seen and cared for. And, she loves to travel. She loves to explore places. And so part of her happy place is putting together like an itinerary, right? But the itinerary that she put together was so spot on. And it was all things that she loves and things she knew that I would love. And so it felt just very nourishing to witness and be witnessed, to feel seen, right? And we did a lot of really fun, cool shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was very kind of energizing. I always love to try on new places as what would life be like to live here, right? And I very much got that sense because I was like staying in their guest room and, we went on their Sunday morning walk around the little neighborhood rose garden and, all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really cute.
It's nice.
I have to say, too, shout out to Portland Airport because we landed and we were at our gate in like 5 minutes. It exploded my brain. And then I walked off. It was probably like a 10-minute walk to the exit of the airport. And the airport had trees inside. And it's all this like raw, unfinished wood on the ceiling.
It's Portland.
It was really
green
cute.
Green and woody.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Did you break out some flannel and grow a beard?
No. Luckily, I didn't automatically turn into a gnome upon entering Portland. But we did Powell's books, which was really cute. And we had like a chai flight. I mean, come on, a chai flight? What a treat.
Yeah.
So, thinking about that and holding on to that example of like how to be a friend, right? Yeah. Just very nourishing.
And also how to be a friend even long distance, like, where you two actually still maintain your friendship.
Totally.
It's helped that she comes down here for work occasionally.
Yeah.
Not as much as she was, but occasionally. And you guys make your Disneyland dates and whatever. I think it's really nice when we can hang on to the people in our lives that, we know we love, even if they're not close.
Yeah.
And there's something really comforting about just stepping into it. Like
you
there's
can pick it back up with like no time has passed. Yeah. Totally.
And so I think it's really important to have that. And also, if you don't have that, I think it's harder, right? It's definitely harder to make friends as an adult.
Yeah.
Because you're not in the same classroom with all these same people forced into this community
There's
together.
less facilitated
Right.
stuff. If you work remotely or if you own your own business,
Yeah.
that also impacts things. It makes it harder to meet people.
Yeah.
So I really had to push myself. That's how I met Bree, was
Yeah.
at like an entrepreneur group.
Yeah.
And like she was very friendly, but I was very intimidated by her. I was like, oh my God, like she's such an adult. She's getting married in a couple weeks. And, you know, she has her own photography business. And she just seemed like she, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
had
that's
all the
the
things.
other
But
thing.
I was also
think,
like, I'm going to, yeah.
I think that's the other thing is that sometimes we don't feel worthy of the friendships, right? Like we feel less than or, you know, and it's interesting, especially as I'm more and more around some really smart, powerful women.
Yeah.
You know, it's like feeling like I have a seat at the table sometimes has been challenging, but I have a seat at the table. Like I'm welcome. This is the part that we overlook. It's like, okay, do I have a seat at the table? Well, I was invited to the table. So yeah. Right. And so part of that is just accepting that they accept it, right? Maybe I'm still not accepting it, but they accept me for being part of this group.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's very interesting in that. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think also too, just I was at an event yesterday where there was a guided meditation, and part of that was like sending out, like imagining a ball of light in the center of your chest and having that fill up your body. Like kind of, it's a very classic meditation, especially here in LA.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's a sentence I just said. Anyway, but then she took it beyond, like we expanded the light out into like LA and California and then the world and the whole thing. And then she brought it back to receiving all of that and feeling that from everybody else in the room, which I think doesn't always come up in that type of meditation. And it was a really interesting exercise to switch over from the giving to the receiving. Because I'm very secure and comfortable in a place where I'm giving.
Yeah.
Right? As like part of the al-anon thing.
Yeah.
Right? I'm less comfortable in the receiving part.
1,000,000,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
However, and in the giving part, well, not however, and I'm going to say and. When I am totally locked in on my kind of unworthiness and depression and not feeling a part of and isolated and all of those kind of ick feelings, what will 100% of the time get me out of it is being of service to somebody else. And so there is a self-service in the act of being helpful to somebody. That's not just about al-anon or fixing somebody else. It's about also fixing myself.
Yeah.
You know,
and feeling good about doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's part of that too. But yeah.
Love it.
So, you know, the funny part is Jackie and I, before we did this, we were like, what are we talking about today? Well, before she sprung the hat out of the bag. But I think...
Oh boy.
But I just love that we can have these conversations. Like I don't know, like you said, like even in an AA or an al-anon or any other kind of like even in a place where it's talked about, I don't think there's a lot of people who get to have this kind of conversation with a parent and a child. And it's super cool. Like I just feel like this is my happy place. So, yeah, love you.
Love you. And I love my diagnosis too.
And yes, we can say, Mom said maybe.
We should copyright that like tonight. All right.
All right.
Cool.
Well, drink your water.
Yes. If I figure out what kind of raffle situation we're going to do, then I'll put it in the show notes.
Yes. We'll put it on our Instagram. Oh, and also we're going to do our first in-person meeting in a few weeks. So we have that on the calendar. And then once we get through a few of those, we'll open it up maybe to a hybrid type of situation where people can...
Yeah, that does live in our show notes now for every episode. There's a Google form to sign up if you want to be notified about in-person or virtual events.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
Have a great week.
Drink
Thank you
some
for
water.
listening.
Yes.
Love you.
All right. Love you. And we love you.
Yes, we do. Okay.
We want to hear from you.
Find us on Instagram and TikTok at 12 Steps for Everyone. That's at the number 12 Steps for Everyone.
Please like and follow us. You can also send us topics you want us to dig into or follow-up questions from each episode.
And if you know someone who would enjoy or benefit from our conversations, please feel free to share this with them. All are welcome here.